by by the church, by the whole church. So maybe because of that, the greetings, they were encouraged by the greetings of the church. But then with that, maybe they might be discouraged because they're a type of people that they're shy and they just want to be there, but not really to be highly recognized. Although most of the time we thought that even before which we're doing that. But then I think we're doing it because of for the church, that the church will know that we have newcomers or guests. But for that person, is it for his own convenience or for his own good? So that's why I think it would be probably better to to prioritize the good of that newcomer, isn't it? Because our aim is to accept them and welcome them. And I think the people in the church will really they're there already, and they would understand it. If they know that we have visitors or guests, it would be encouraging as well for them. But of course, our main priority is for the guests, that they will welcome and they don't feel they will not be ashamed, or maybe some people for them it's not good practice to stand up in front. And another thing is, especially here in Ireland, I think people are quite private, so they don't want to really inform you of their confidentialities like numbers, email address. So we don't want to force them as well to, if they're not happy to write it. So we don't want. Okay, as long as the most important thing that they feel welcome in this place, and that's why we encourage them to come again, and not the most important thing, we're not going to force them of anything that we are practicing in this church. The most important thing that they are welcome of whatever they are, and whatever their practice. So we will welcome them. Okay, so try not to force our practice of the church, but the most important thing is that they're welcome here. Amen. Okay. Now another thing, if you have any questions as well, please feel free to raise your hand about the handshakes. What if you are in the door and you're going to offer your hand for handshakes, and maybe the guests are not happy to do it, especially the ladies. If you're a man and you're going to offer your hand for handshakes, they're not going to respond. So what are you going to do? So maybe some of us might feel, okay, I feel rejected because that lady didn't respond to my handshake. Maybe they don't want my welcoming or my greeting to her. So what are we going to do about it? Okay? So of course, we should accept it that there are people are not happy of handshaking. So I think, but it will not stop us well for us to offer our hands for handshaking. Because there are, there are some debate as well that, okay, allow the ladies to offer their hands first. I think that would not applicable in the church, because it's our way of welcoming them. But if they don't want to offer their hands, it's fine. Okay, just lead them to the sanctuary. Okay, with them. You don't, okay. But don't feel rejected. Okay? If you don't feel rejected, just accept it. But still continue to wear your smile. Okay, but don't sabi mo na, okay, hindi kita pagbibigyan, hindi kita si-serve mamaya ng kape. don't think, don't think any bad about that person, about that guest who didn't offer their hands for your handshake. Okay, so just continue. Yes.
So, as an usher, do we initiate always the handshake, or?
Yeah. They will always. If they don't want to not happy, it's fine. Yeah. Unless if your hands are not presentable to so make sure that you also okay.
May change ka ng tire. Basa.
Baka may grasa doon. Make sure that your hands is clean as well. Okay, because of the...
Gagawin ka naman sa toilet. Basang-basa.
Okay. So there are some, you need to have your lotions there or your
Hand sanitizer.
hand sanitizer. Yeah, it's good. Those things are equipments of ushers and greeters.
Pastor, how about yung iba? How about the hug, the
Okay.
beso?
Yeah.
How about the ushering?
Yeah, there are, some people are comfortable with that, and some don't are not comfortable. So it depends. If your brothers and sisters, so it's fine. But don't do that for your guests. Don't do that for your guests. Okay. Yeah, you're very. Seems that you're very close to your guests. Okay, then. All right. But of course, it's a practice and it's our way of showing love and care to one another. So it's fine. But as long as we're not doing that for our guests. Another thing that's being discussed there is sometimes there are instances that there's only one greeter at the door, and then there's a guest who is asking direction for the toilet. So the question is, are you going to leave your post or you're going to help that guest going to the toilet? So what is your answer about it?
That's what you said earlier.
Yeah.
You can guard, but then ask someone to
Okay.
stop.
How about if there's nobody? They're all inside the sanctuary. Are you?
Give direction. Give direction. Don't leave your post.
What's the reason about it? Rationality. Okay.
At least you have greeted them already, and then the one coming, they will miss that greeting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then if nobody's there,
She missed
So you said you're going to lead them?
no,
Give direction.
Just
Give direction.
Don't leave your post.
Alright. Okay, anyway, because in our church here, the toilet is not really so far. So I think it's still part of building up good impression to them. Maybe you did your greetings to them, but I think it would not take minutes to direct them, lead them actually. For me, I'm ready to lead my post. So if it's really necessary, because they don't know, maybe they don't know the toilet, you're just giving direction then, but you're not sure if they went to the right direction. But for me, I'm going to lead them. Really, it's part of my welcoming to them, and then. Once you know that they are in the right place, then go back to your post. But of course, there should be always two at the door, so that if one needs direction, you need to lead them to the toilet or to wherever you want to go. And then come back to your post. Maybe it won't take a minute, isn't it? And then welcome again whoever coming in. Okay, because especially for the guests who don't know the layout of the building. Although we said, okay, in that direction, maybe. So I think it would be better, part of our welcoming, that we really welcome in this place and serve properly in the church. Okay? Are we okay about it? Yeah, anyway, it's not, unless if the toilet is very far, then you need to think about that. But anyway, in our church here, it's not far, so it's easy to lead them and then go back to your post. If only one of you assigned. Hopefully not, no? Hopefully. And another thing is how to greet newcomers or the guests. If you're not sure if they are newcomers, there's also a debate that you need. Some people would ask, "Are you a newcomer? Are you first time here?" Some people would maybe feel offended about it. If you are maybe new in the church and be an usher here, some people would be away. They're already here in this church, but they're out for 6 months, maybe holiday or what. I think the most safe way to tell to that person if you're not sure if they are first time or new is this. Tell them or ask them, hi, my name is Jojo, and I think I never met you before. Okay? I think I never met you before. What's your, you can ask, what's your name? And then, okay, so then you say, okay, I'm here already, I'm just out away for 6 months or what. So if you're not sure if there are newcomers or maybe in the church, but of course we all know most of them. But for the safest way to address it is not to ask them, are you a newcomer? Okay? Because maybe some people are not happy about being new in the church because I've been a born-again Christian for so many years. No, I'm not new, Maybe people don't want to be called newcomers. Okay? So the safest way is to, my name is, speak out your name and then ask them, I think I never met you before. So it would be more pleasant than to tell them or to ask them, are you a newcomer? Okay? And another thing is the proper addressing of your brothers and sisters in Christ. Now, we are used to say sister, brother, but sometimes even to the guests, we might call them brother and sisters already. We don't know if they are Christians or not. So we should be careful about that as well. Okay? So always, if you're not sure if they are Christians or not, just if they mention their name, just call the first name. Don't call them brother or sister because we are not sure. Okay? So, and maybe they are not, and they're cold, so they're not coming back because I'm already part of the church. Alright? Okay, so proper addressing. Okay? And what else? Okay, any more questions and clarifications? What else that you, based on your experience, Brother Liam?
I was going back to the greetings,
Yeah.
I don't ask them to stand up. I don't actually ask them to stand up, but I sometimes ask them to point out where they are in the crowd because I say where is that okay? And I read out from the green card what they've already information they've given.
Yes.
So I'll interact with them on the information they've given, but not really, I won't ask them to give any more information. But is it okay to ask them to point where they are?
Where they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay where they are, but don't let them stand up. And then just raise their hand.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's not really offending for me just to raise their hand, okay, here, but not to stand them up. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine for me. And giving them the green card, just tell them if you're only happy to fill it. But if they're not happy, they don't want to really, give their information. So we respect them.
Maybe ask for the name.
Yeah, maybe for the name. Yeah, and maybe, we can do that after the service. I mean, we have no time to really ask their names. Their name is very important because we need to welcome them. But other information, maybe that's why we need some place for our guests. That even here in the pantry, we can talk to them. It's or if the ushers are busy or the greeters are busy, maybe we can ask some brethren, some leaders to talk to them. To feel them welcome. That's why everybody should be a greeters and an usher because it's our training ground. If we are busy after the service, we still have things to be done before we leave the church. So we can endorse it to somebody. And then so that that guest will not be left alone in a place. But after the service, you will be welcome again, and by the conversation, you can get information from them who invited them, something like that. If they're not going to give their details, but at least the one that invited them knows the person, and you can get information from the one that invited them, so that we can invite them again.
But how about for the walking guest pastor? So we will be missing their details if they refuse to give out their personal
Yeah.
details.
Well, if they are not happy to really give, so we cannot do anything about it.
We
Yeah.
just pray that they will come back.
Yeah, just pray. That's why,
Somebody who invited them.
somebody invited, maybe they've just walked in. Really, that's why, the greetings and the welcome, and they feel, okay, I feel really welcome. The welcome is very warm. So, maybe that way they will come back again. They feel welcome, but then we don't force them to do the practices of the church, so that they will not feel that they belong to the church anymore, which we don't want to belong. So, what else? So that's for the walk-in. Okay, just even just their first name, at least you can tell them their first name, and if they want to stay after the church service, so you can talk to them. You can talk to them. So that's the way, that conversation with our relationship, building relationship to our guests is very important, and we cannot do that before the service, because we have no enough time to do that, because we need to greet and to usher everybody else. Okay. So that's why we need to develop that, after the service, even informal way of conversation or chatting with them. The most important thing is that they are really feel important in the place, in the church, as a guest. Anything else?
Would it be okay to give them some sort of token of appreciation, like a bookmark with the
Oh yes.
logo?
Yeah.
For the world?
Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. Give them something. Welcome back, or anything. Yeah, it's nice. Maybe you can add, of course, in that thing we add information about the church, our future activities.
We have that also yung Bible. Welcome to our church.
Give the Bible.
It's like a
And of course, I'm leaving a copy of this with all
Yeah.
the information.
That's right. And do we have extra Bibles? And maybe we don't need to put our Bibles there, but maybe inside,
Oh yeah.
inside that sanctuary, maybe for our guests, and even for the members who forgot to bring their Bible. So it's our job as well as ushers to not only for guests but also for our members. We didn't forget, so we can lend them the Bible of the church. Okay?
Sir, how about what's the responsibility of the usher for those members who have their favorite seats? Sometimes they like sitting here. Do they need to, reshuffle or what?
Well, it would be better that we need to fill up the first rows,
Yes,
the
yes.
front.
Yes.
It's better because it's easy for the usher. I know it's very challenging for those that used to, but maybe, with our smile, with our welcome, and with our explanation, kapatid, I think would be better because, for our, I think, yes,
But
kapatid.
I saw the video earlier. They put
Ribbon.
Yeah.
ribbons as well as the sign for family with children
Sir,
only at
sir.
the back. So I think we're gonna.
Yeah, we can follow that.
Although it was already announced before that the back seat would be occupied by the family with babies, but sometimes.
But
Yeah.
sometimes guests doesn't want to sit in front. So if they prefer to sit on that side, that corner, just
Yeah, it's okay with the guests.
Yes, yes.
But I think for the members,
Yeah.
they should always be reminded that they should occupy the front seat.
If you're going to a concert or something, everybody wants to get to the front. So
Yeah.
this is a big old notion. My God, it should be at the front.
Yeah, and maybe the tambourines they put their things in the front, so maybe we can eliminate that. So if they're going to change after the praise and worship, so if they can leave their things in the tambourine room instead of bringing it there, so that we for the ushers, so if we know that there's nobody there, because maybe after, I mean not only the tambourine, I mean the children, it's because after the during the preaching or the sermon, they are also in their Bible Sunday school. So this will be vacant. So try to eliminate those things that we saw that if we don't know if the chair is vacant or not. Okay. What else? Yes.
Actually, it's a question I really don't know, Brother Ian, pero I want to ask as well. Ren. If we're going to church as a family and our kids with us, that means in our church they're not included in the service. They already have their own for the whole service, or because sometimes what we do is, okay, this will be the chair for my kids, and then you put your bag. We usually do this. We put your bag there
For the kids.
because it's like reserved for the kids. But then somebody needs it, so and that's why I want to clarify it. If our service is like when we come as a family, the kids will not be staying with us, so they will go to the Sunday school for the rest of the service. Is that what our church?
When they stay for a few minutes, my brother, after now, just before the prayer for the children, they're still there. So you will still have them
So
in their own seats. However,
Yeah.
once the children are prayed for
Yeah.
and they leave sanctuary,
Yeah.
then you would have to take out your bag now. Kasi
that,
people might come in
That's
the middle of
right.
the service or in the beginning
Yeah.
and then they need seats. In our case naman, there's so many ample seats now, but people might want to sit as well. So
yeah.
Nobody might see, just because, and nobody might see to when the seats occupied the back when the seats occupied with the backs on the band, if they think it might be somebody's seat, what I might do is, even if they get there's no seats available, I ask just to remain at the back, and as soon as the children go out, there will be empty seats available, and they're not happy.
so the bags can be put at the bottom of their chairs or in their front end.
Yeah.
So that the chairs can be freed up.
Yeah.
So that the bags, they don't have to occupy the seats, the bags.
Yeah, like because there's always going to be seats available. Everyone's standing up, praying or singing or whatever, and then one staff pass says, "Oh, there's plenty of seats anyway." So. Well, regular members, in particular, regular members, I always say, just stand at the back. For newcomers, I try to make sure that there's a.
But like, even if sometimes we have children and then they're there in the sanctuary, some of the ladies and some of the men still put their bags on the chairs. No?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a habit that they already developed. But still, as ushers, I think we should have a way politely to ask them to take it out, take it away, or put it in the bottom.
Yeah.
If there are people that are standing at the
Yes,
back
yes, yes.
that needs to sit, I think in a polite way we should. Sorry, but it's okay that we should have a way to say that we need that chair.
Yeah.
I think we have to say it politely. I think
Yeah.
eye-to-eye contact as well. Okay.
But we should also remember that the kids are part of the service, the praise and worship. So we will encourage them as well that their presence is there during the praise and worship. So we don't want them to go out just to vacate the place, but we encourage them. But I know after the praise and worship during the sermon they're coming here. So I think the parents, if their kids go to their Sunday schools and their bag is still on the seats, maybe if you're the parents there, just put it under the seats so that when the ushers know that there's nobody there on the seats, so they can allow maybe the latecomers to occupy the seats. But during the praise and worship, we encourage the children to join us in the praise and worship. Okay, so of course I don't want the children to feel that I'm not part of this this praise and worship is not for me. You know, no, we should inculcate in their minds that this is our life. We're praising and worshiping God.
Pastor,
Mm.
how about the children, those while we're doing the praise and worship, and the children are going in and out, running around playing?
Okay, so we should, as ushers, maybe parents don't know what to do, but
Parents.
yeah, it should be responsibility of the parents, but then as ushers, we need to lead them with kind-hearted way to their parents, and then ask the parents, okay, he's outside, so maybe just let him stay with you. So the parents knows that, okay, their responsibility, that their kids should be in the presence of the Lord during the service as well.
Like an example, like for me, it'd be hard for me to do the children, trying to get, and then I'm not different.
Yeah.
I'm a knowledge man, so it'd be hard for me. So maybe there should be someone that's good with children just to usher them back in, because for me, maybe me, he's all used to having a day in the time. So make it hard and tough for us to try and get a big group of Filipino children to come back into the
I know, I understand it because it's been like a practice, with the children. It's outside.
And then obviously with laws and around safeguard and trust and there's I'm not, if I go near a child and something happens, he falls or something like that.
Yeah.
That's another issue as well.
Right. So we should do our best to bring them back to their parents. Really, even small children, because they should know that they are part of the praise and worship. It's very important. It's very important. I don't know here if there's a plan that there will be an old age service, because someday in Mechanic we're going to have an old age service wherein everybody, there one service, one Sunday a month, everybody will be there during the sermon. So everybody, even the children, so the sermon will be old age related.
Actually,
So,
in our church in the Philippines, we have like that once a month.
Old age.
Yeah, during communion time, something like that.
Training for the kids.
And also rest for the whole.
Yeah, day off for the children, for the teachers. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's where we need the cooperation of everybody. Especially those who are attending this training. For example, Brother Sam needs help to bring the children back to the sanctuary. Okay, tell them, okay, you need to be there during, you need to praise and worship God. Because it's you're part of it. You're part of it. And then that's the time that we will be separated from their parents during their Sunday school. Okay?
But I think, Pastor, the mas na they're willing to listen for their parents than the others, If the parents will tell them, praise and worship, you have to stay with us like that. Not going and playing outside. Talk to them. Maybe the parents will talk to their children.
But if I think back to when I was a child, if I moved 1 inch years ago in church, I would have been told off by my dad. So
Because especially the kids, they thought this is the normal or the norm, because they're always outside. So it's really hard for them to listen to you. Why? Because we've been there for many years outside. Now you're going to change. So I think maybe the children ministry would be a great help as well to explain it to the children. Maybe I don't know, parents could find it hard to explain it, but the children ministry, maybe they will include it during the their Sunday school to explain it to the children. This is what we're going to do. Because later on, I'm going to share to you the mechanics of our Sunday service.
Pastor, but the problem is if their parents themselves will not, reprimand their children, there's no point for the Sunday school teachers to explain. Because I think every Sunday, every age group, different Sunday school teachers, we explain explain that to them. Even after the Sunday school itself, we will tell them, go out, don't make noise, don't run. But they still do the same thing. And I think it's not only the Sunday school teacher's responsibility. I think it's mainly
The parents. Primarily.
Yeah, because I think before they come to church, they must be, instructed by the parents already what they need to do in the church.
Sometimes I have a hard time telling CJ because he will always tell me why others are there, you know. So it should be everybody.
Yeah.
Just like actually now I have trained him no iPad at all during Sunday, and he knows that now. We don't really,
I think if all parents will agree in that sense, I think we will all be in one.
Can we?
But you know, I would like to talk as well. As a parent, I'm sure that all parents would have talked to their children as well. But you know, kids are kids.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you cannot also contain them in. I know it is hard, but they should do it as well. But I think as a parents, we did our part as well. But anyway, thank you, Sister Myla, for
But if they don't see other kids outside, nobody will want to be alone there, you know?
I think
Yeah, because they have.
I think if only Sundays they will not bring all their gadgets. Only Sunday, to observe what their parents did also in the church and what is the other children's will do.
Okay.
So, I think with the gadgets, I think it was lessened already because I don't see that, not much of the kids have iPad already. Because it was mentioned to us before to advise our children to bring iPad, but I think it's more of really, the kids.
The loitering around.
Not only iPad, even other toys they like.
Okay. So maybe one way is to send letters to the parents explaining that, and the other way is how we're going to gather the parents to explain it.
Siguro sa mga assembly. Isa yung mga assembly.
I think personal letters siguro would be,
Pero maganda mga new bullets. Hindi lang siya,
bullets.
may mga different reminders.
Yeah. Maybe if we can propose that to the leaders, to write the letters so that on Sundays they will they have read the letters and the ushering, so that the ushering is doing what the letter is saying there, so they will understand. Maybe we need to remind them, the parents, okay, that this is your responsibility for your children to be with you. As a family to worship God, so we just want to remind them again and again. I know it's really hard at first because it's not the norm that we are practicing in terms of the children. But then, as we continue to do that, they will be transformed by the renewing of their minds. So hopefully, I don't know, it will happen. But the most important thing is that we just continue to be firm of the policy of the church, as ushers, firm kindness, continue to show kindness to them. But then, because the children needs leaders, they need direction. Okay, sometimes they thought that the way that they are doing is what is right, but then that's the time now that we need to renew their mind, and hopefully that is using us to renew their minds, and that they're going to stick with the Sunday praise and worship. Okay, what else? Before we proceed with our lunch break. So later on, we're going to discuss about the program, the Sunday program. So what's the part of the ushering ministry, so that you will know before the start of the program or the service, during the service, and after the service. So we have, we're going to discuss about it, and we're going to discuss in the event of emergencies as well, as part of our training today. What are we going to do? What should be our response in case of emergencies? Okay, so of course, we're praying God's protection, but just in case, are we prepared? You know, and who are the responsible persons to do this and that? Okay? So we're going to discuss that after the break. Alright? Alright. So, if you have any questions, we still have time later on, after our, in the wrapping up session we have, before the closing, so we have to wrap up things. If you still have questions, please write it down and we will discuss it later. Okay? So,
Time check. It's quarter before 2.
okay.
I'm thinking maybe